All right, so we're going to move straight to our next speaker. I'm very sure that Mr. Olufemi Olumide is right now available. Okay. Welcome to this particular webinar, and thank you for making yourself available to educate us today on business startup and development. Thank you so much. All right, so I just read a little bit of Mr. Olufemi's profile, just a little bit, and then he can tell us a little bit more about himself if he wishes to. All right, Olufemi Olumide is a serial entrepreneur. He's a business development professional and management consultant. He provides business development and growth solutions to SMEs in Nigeria, East Africa, USA, and the United Arab Emirates. And I know he can say more on that, but we're working with time, and this is just a very few of his profile that we can put up right now. And Mr. Olufemi, this is your floor and your time right now to begin to shoot and to, educate us. The floor is open for you, sir.
Thank you very much once again. My name is Olufemi Olumide. I'm a business consultant, like she has said, and I'm so excited to be here. And I've actually been trying to have a countdown to today's session, and I've really been looking forward to having an amazing time here. Okay, so quickly, I want to say a big thank you for the invitation first. Thank you so much, the entire 316 team, for bringing me on board. I hope we can have an amazing time in a very short time. So basically in Nigeria here, I deal with startups and I coach business owners all over the world actually to grow their businesses and become better, to look at their businesses from a standpoint of opportunity, and today I've been able to put together something. So I'm just going to share my slide. Let me see how I can do that. Slide. Okay, so please let me know if you can see the slide.
Sure, we can see that.
Okay. So I decided to twist it a bit, and I titled it The 7 Pillars of Business Development for Startups. And my aim is to make you see business development from a different perspective. Sometimes the word looks a bit, sometimes a bit heavy, even for business owners to understand. So I'll just try to quickly break it down. But before I do, I'll quickly want to say something very interesting that I always like to say, that everybody on earth, we all have 2 amazing strengths, like 2 amazing humans. In fact, I'll call them super strengths. And the first one is called the power of eyesight. Power of eyesight, basically, and this strength helps us see things according to the appearance, meaning that a business owner can see something, see a problem somewhere, identify the problem, and create a solution from that problem. So we have 2 giftings or 2 super strengths. The first one is called the power of eyesight. The second one is called the power of mindsight. And for me, this is the biggest of all. And why I like to say it is the biggest of all is because when you have the power of mindsight, you can easily interpret what you see. So you see the biggest companies in the world have started from your thoughts, from your mind, from your imaginations. Somebody somewhere looked up in the sky, saw a bird flying and said to himself, why can't we develop something, build a very big bird that humans can go in? They call the Wright brothers. It all started with the mind. So that for me makes me realize that yes, there are 2 great gifts, the power of eyesight and the power of mindsight. But above all, the power of mindsight is the one that everybody needs, especially every business owner. every business owner should begin to build this. And because of our time, I may not be able to go further into how to build it, but it's something you need to cover, because the next generation of business owners will be people who can actually build wealth from their mind and not just from physical things that they see around them. Okay, so according to Harvard, of course, Harvard Business School, they say every business owner needs to answer 3 questions. And the first one is, what business are we into? What business are we into? And the moment you are able to answer this question, you kind of have clarity on, even before you start thinking about business development, business growth, and everything like that. You need to be able to answer and ask yourself, so what business am I into? And every time I think about this question, I always try to remember a business, like, let me put it this way. Let's look for one business. So I always like to look for, let's use McDonald's, right? Now, when you ask the average McDonald's staff, they will tell you that they are here to give you an experience that you will never forget. Like, if you go and Google the vision of McDonald's, it sounds like selling to you an experience. They don't talk about giving you burgers. They don't talk about giving you pizza. They don't talk about giving all those amazing things that you go there to buy. They focus more on the reason why they're in business. And that takes me to the next one. The second one is, why am I into this? Why am I into this? These are 3 questions every business owner must ask. You need to ask yourself, why am I into it? Why am I doing this? Because I want to share an experience. I want people to come here and be awed. And the final one says, how do we get going? And that takes me into what we will be talking about today. How do we get going? So it's one thing for you to have an answer to what business you are into. It's the next thing for you to understand, okay, now why am I into this business? And then there is another level for you to understand, how do we get going? Are we going to be selling burgers as McDonald's, everybody that comes in? Are we just going to sell burgers? Or are we going to sell a smile? Are we going to sell happiness? Are we going to sell joy? We need to understand how we actually want to get this done. Over 90% of pioneers, inventors, and founders never see their dreams through the finish line. Amazingly, without doubt, we all survive on the products of the 10% who never give up. That's another quote from me. I always love to say, because I say to myself that 75% of jobs available today will no longer be in existence in another 10 years. Things are changing. Business owners must begin to see from the future, from the perspective of the future, and not the perspective of today. Meaning, how you ran your business 10 years ago cannot work in 2021. How you will run your business in 2021 can't work the same way in 2031. 10 years from now, things will change. With that information now, we need to start asking ourselves, what is the future of our business? What is this future we are talking about? Where do we see this business in 5 years, in 10 years? How can we ensure that our businesses will begin to blossom and become a kind of global thing? How can we ensure that we take our businesses from idea, not just to product, but to become a global product, to become a global solution? And that brings me to the topic of today, called the 7 pillars of business development for startups. Now, I kind of did another second twist to it by striking out the word business development and changing it for business growth. In the 21st century, we will not just be talking about how to develop businesses, but we will now start having to think about how we can grow businesses for different reasons. So in this 21st age, there's several reasons why business owners start a business. Unlike before, they will tell you, ask you a question. Why now? Just tell me. Type in the comment section. Answer this question. Why do you think you started your business? Or why do you think you want to start a business? Just type the answer in the comment section and let's all get here what to say. Why have you started your business, or why do you think you want to start a business? I'd just like to read a few answers from the comment section. So I ask the question again. Why are you starting your business, and why did you start your business? So the first one, just in case you're just about to start and you haven't yet started, why do you want to start the business? And then if you have started it, why did you start your business? Fantastic. So Anthony says to solve a problem. Now, this is majorly the problem of clarity is a service providing business. Now, so this is a very interesting perspective, because for several years, we've always been told that, our business needs to solve a problem, which is true. But let me shock you. There is, in the 21st century, there are many, many more options now available to you. And one of the many options available to you is to actually make impact, right? So you can make impact, you can solve the problem, you can actually start a business to make money off the business. So there are certain people now in the 21st century who all they do is start and sell. They build the business until it gets to a certain stage and then they sell the business. There are several people who have done that, who are cashing out severally. So we need to understand that we are now supposed to be focusing on growth and not just business development. And that takes me to the first one, which is called vision casting. Now, maybe you don't still understand what business development is about or business growth, but I'm sure my explanation makes you understand that before you even get into business at all, you have to start asking yourself, where do I see this business? How do I want to ensure that this business lasts? Do I just want to start this business and stop this business after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years? Or do I want to be one of those statistics, according to Harvard Business School, that says 9 out of 10 businesses will, crash or will not even exist in the next 10 years? Do I want to become that 9 out of 10, or do I want to become the one? Because the chances are so slim. So maybe we should start looking at the 7 pillars of growth instead of looking at the 7 pillars of business development. Okay, so the first one I'll start with is called vision casting. What's vision casting? And I'll try as much as possible to go straight to the point and you use layman terms. So vision casting is when you sit down and analyze your business vision and say to yourself, what do we want to achieve? How long will it take for us to achieve? Because there's several times that business owners don't even answer that question before they start the business. How long will it take for us to break even? We don't know, because we have never sat down to think about it. We have never made financial projections that says, okay, at what point in time will this business be able to actually start paying me? At what point in my life? For some people, it will take them 20 years for the business to start paying them back. For some people, it will take them 5 years. So recently, I reached out to a farmer and I showed interest to him in farming. And I said to him, I would like to plant, what did I tell him? Cashew. And he said to me, are you aware that it takes about 5 years for cashew to grow and produce? Sometimes, and he says to me, in fact, that is a hybrid, that, the local species, which is predominant in Nigeria, usually takes between 9 to 10 years. I'm like, wow, who's going to wait for 9 to 10 years? So you're just going to be watering and, putting fertilizer and putting water into your cashew. You guys don't even have a clue of what goes into cashew growing. So many of us like it, so many of us eat it. But until we ask ourselves one very interesting question, how long will it take for my business to get to this level of growth? If you know that you have been able to answer this question, it will give you a different paradigm. Remember when I talked about the two human skills, the two human skills, right? When I talked about the power of mindset, if you're able to envisage and say to yourself, I want my business to be XYZ in 10 years, and based on your projections, for example, you have a crop like you are planting a crop like cashew, and you are planting the 10-year variation. It means that you need to start asking yourself, what else can I grow in between that time? But just in case you're only growing cashew and you're planting for 10 years, what that means is that you can't afford to give up. So write down everything you need to achieve between when your business kicks off and when it begins to blossom. Always ask yourself the question, how long will it take for my business to eventually blossom? It is very important. And some business owners, remember I said that in the 21st century, We need to start thinking differently from how we thought in the previous century, right? We need to start asking ourselves, maybe I'm just meant to set up this business and cash out. Maybe I'm supposed to be like a WhatsApp who builds a fantastic platform, and the world begins to love the platform and walks up to Facebook and says to Facebook or Instagram and says to Instagram, come and buy my company for $100 million, right? Or I can't really remember how much it sold it for. Can somebody help me with that figure? $10 billion, I don't know how much it was sold. But my point here is that we need to start thinking from a perspective of vision. Where will this business be in 20 years? What do I actually want to do with this business? Who says you must run the business to the finish line? Who says so? Who says maybe you are meant to be the forerunner of the business, develop the business idea, turn it into a product, sell that product to somebody who is going to take it to the next level? Okay, so that's the first one. The second one is called accountability and mentorship. I always like to talk about this last, but for some weird reason, I decided to bring it first. It's rather second, right? And accountability and mentorship for me is very important as a business owner. Somebody who is thinking of starting a business, or you already have an existing business. Now, why do I say that? Before you go far in business, before you take those big decisions, before you take those key decisions to sell your business or to shut down the business, you need to have a business mentor. You need to have someone who you can easily walk up to and say, this is my vision. This is what I want to achieve. How am I making mistakes? What do I need to do? You need to keep talking to somebody who can guide you through the path. Now, the conversation of how to choose a mentor is way different, right? But choosing a mentor and getting some sort of or accountability is very key at the beginning stage. In fact, it's key all through the entire business lifespan, because there are several business opportunities that will come your way that you don't need to take. There are several doors that would open for your business you don't need to take. Whereas there are other business opportunities that you need to take. There's a very popular business in Nigeria, and I'm going to talk about them, I'm sure, in a couple of slides from now, right? But there's a particular one who went ahead to borrow $40 million. Was it $40 million? Yes, they borrowed $40 million. 5 years down the line, they declared bankrupt. What do you think will happen to the directors of that business, right? Do you think that such a business got good guidance or got good counseling about the business model? Maybe that I believe that somewhere something happened, something didn't go right, but maybe the business model had a fault, or maybe they had the wrong set of people on their team. This is where accountability and mentorship comes in. When you get a mentor, when you get somebody who you can be accountable to, you get to run and bounce off these ideas with several people. And please, you can have several mentors in business. You can have a business mentor for your finance. You can have a business mentor for recruitment. You can have a business mentor for expansion. You can have a business mentor for vision casting. There's this business mentor that I always like. Every time I want to talk about it, maybe in the next 5 years of my life, there's this person I always like to talk to. Right? So that's the perspective you must begin to look about. And number 2 is accountability and mentorship. Number 3 is build systems. Now, this is a very big problem for several business owners or people who want to go into business, because they keep saying to me, look, I am tired. Like, I want to sleep. This business is not allowing me sleep. This business is not allowing me expand. I can't travel. I can't have fun like I want to do because this business is tying me down. The solution to that is build systems. Now, when you build systems around the business that you own, automatically what that happens, please, it doesn't happen like magic, but over a period of time, what happens is that the business no longer becomes centered around you. So, for example, you can automate things like payment systems. I personally went through this stress for a very long time until I understood the power of automation. right? When I'm forgetting to pay salaries, oh, it's at the end of the month again, no, right? But there's systems around that now where you can easily automate payment systems. And of course, the payment, you can put several instructions that says, oh, make this payment happen with my verification. So it sends you a pop-up. The different things you can do, either reminders or even automated payment systems that just take off the stress off you. Customer processes. You build a system and then you feel you don't know what to say to every customer. Everybody's asking. Build systems around it. You can actually develop systems around what to say, how to say it, when to say it, how it comes out. And everybody begins to say a unified thing. So you can build processes around people systems, what are the kind of people we want to hire? When do we want to hire them? Is there a category of people we should hire? Does your company have like core values? Like do we have like, okay, this person must have proven this, and wherever it's coming from, finance processes. This has helped me several times win a couple of grants over the years. Finance processes. I always keep documentation about my finances. And maybe I'm going to talk about finance in this slide, right? But build systems around your finances. You could use softwares like QuickBook, Wave, and things like that to build systems around your inventory that can relieve you of pain. So you don't start thinking and asking yourself, okay, how much do we have left? This thing is automated. All you just have to do is make an input. And at the end of the month, instead of waiting till the end of the month to do like a total financial, report and everything, it's already doing the financial report for you. So you can use, and there's several free platforms and free softwares out there there's several of those softwares that even, will even give you at a reduced cost. Okay, so number 4 says proper bookkeeping, and I think I've already talked in between, this. Proper booking is very easy. I remember I got a $20,000 grant because I could prove that I had receipts from managing the business, that I was running a business, and I could prove that I've been running on generator for 2 years. Like if I were to ask you that question, now I'm in Nigeria and we need generators to power our businesses. Do you have 2 years track record of receipts that you have collected either from filling stations, fuel stations, or gas stations, or do you have receipts for 2 years of your running costs? Do you have it properly documented? I got $20,000 because of that. I want you to think about business development from a perspective of the future and growth. Think about these little things adding up together. So I'm just going to go straight. Of course, all right. They were able to raise $50 million from investors. They raised $50 million from investors into their business, and something happened. Their business model changed along the way. Guess what? Nigerian government just woke up and just said, we're banning all Okadas, we're banning all tricycles, we're banning all this, we're banning all that. What happens to all the money that they raised? They quickly had to reinvent the wheel and say, how do we ensure, because this money is a loan, how do we ensure that this business stays afloat? They quickly changed the model, turned the bikes into delivery systems and things like that, sold off some of the bikes, moved them to other cities, but they didn't have those government policy restrictions and things like that. You have to start thinking on the wheel. Think partnerships. Who are the people you can collaborate with? Who are the agencies that you can partner with? Who is out there that is ready to give you funding for something? It blew my mind to realize that there are agencies and organizations out there that are willing to give you funding for COVID relief, funding for business operations, funding for power systems. Like if you go on Google, there's several organizations and funding platforms out there that are ready to partner with you, only if you're able to put your documents together, have the right documents, have the right books, have the right bookkeeping. And that brings me to this is supposed to be number 7. I think that's 6, but it says 5. Sorry about that. So that brings me to number 6, innovate, right? And I talked about OP already. Think outside the box. What can I do to ensure that my business keeps doing new things to stay ahead? What is that new thing you want to do? Think about how you can use a little cost to get more leverage. So for example, I always love to use Uber and Taxify or Bolt or whatever you call it. When Bolt came into Nigeria, they didn't spend 1 naira on marketing. All they did was tell your friend, we'll give you a free ride, we'll give you a free ride, we'll give you a free ride. We all kept up telling all our friends until I remember at some point I had almost 60,000 naira worth of free ride vouchers, and I was riding for the next 2 months for free. That way, Uber became very popular and became known. So don't always think from the perspective of limitation. Think about it from the perspective of innovation. What can I do differently that can bring my marketing costs down? What partnerships can I have? You'll be shocked that there are people out there that are ready to partner with you, to take your business to the next level. And finally, network. I always love to add this. Please network. You can't just sit in your business environment and say, oh, we're running a business. You need to go out there, go for conferences, meet people, understand what is happening in your space. What are the industry? What are the platforms? What are the agencies? What are the associations you need to join? What are the certifications you need to have? What are the regulatory bodies that you need to be a part of? What are the associations? I've talked about that already. Don't just stay in one place and just be a master of your own product or self. Try to find out what other people are doing. Go out there, mix up with people, mix up with other business owners, learn about opportunities. I remember the first day I went for a pitch. It was a cocktail pitch. Everybody was standing and holding a bottle of wine or champagne or something and talking about business. And I walked up to a venture capitalist, and he asked me, I'm ready to fund your business with $10 million. And I'm like, woo! And he gave me a condition. He says, what? And he said something about the numbers that I should have and how my business must be innovative in such a way that, it drives technology. And I thought to myself, wow, my business doesn't drive technology. It doesn't show the use of technology. And that made me start thinking, how can I develop a business that can attract funds from different categories, of different sectors of the economy, that can drag funds to push my business to the next level. Thank you very much. Those are the 7, what I call keys, or yes, let's call them keys or pillars of business growth for any startup. And I'm just going to go through it for the last time. The first one I said was vision casting. The next one I said was accountability and mentorship. The third one is to build systems around what you do. Number 4 is proper bookkeeping. This is really important. Number 5 is innovate, think innovation, look out for opportunities out there. Number 6 is think about partnerships. What are the guys you can partner with to take your business to the next level? And number 7, finally, is network. Remember that you can't know it all. Somebody out there has gone through the pain you're trying to gain, right? So learn from this and use the opportunity to take your business to the next level. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I look forward to listening to the questions.